Morning everybody, how are you all doing? There's going to be a few people that come to the comment section that aren't happy because I'm wearing a hat and sunglasses because it's sunny. I'm trying to keep the sun out my eyes. They think it's because I'm trying to hide my face, even though 99% of the videos on my channel are with me without sunglasses and a hat showing my face. So that kind of blows that little theory out of the water, doesn't it, really? So let's talk about the state of the country at the minute, the absolute insanity that is going on at the moment. So Elon Musk has come out with some absolute bombshells that have rocked our political establishment to the core, and not just our political establishment, all the establishments, all those people that were complicit in covering up the trafficking and sexual assault of young girls for decades are now going to face prosecution thanks to Elon Musk, because he's offered up to pay for all the legal costs to bring these people to justice. So I can imagine that over the last few days there's been a fair few people in this country getting very, very scared indeed about what's about to happen to them. From social workers to teachers to police officers, both boots on the ground and chief constables, their sphincters are going to be doing overtime now that Elon Musk has declared that these people will face the full force of justice. And it's about time. There is literally no place these people can hide. They can't hide from their past transgressions because they're about to come back full force to bite them in the arse. And those girls are going to get justice for the people that were supposed to help them but didn't, because they were cowardly, they were spineless, or because they were doing it because of political capital. They thought that these girls' lives were worth wrecking for their own political gain, or because they were absolute cowards and wouldn't step in to help them out in their time of need. Also, Elon Musk, he's been coming out with some absolute blinders recently on all of this. Geese going past. He said, and he was talking about the Starmer regime when he was saying this, that any government that facilitates its own people's demise is not a legitimate government. Now, we all know this. We all know that the Starmer regime isn't a legitimate government. They got the lowest voter share ever in a general election. I've stated this before. When Jeremy Corbyn went up against Boris Johnson in the 2019 general election, Starmer got less votes than Jeremy Corbyn when he lost against Boris Johnson. So, what legitimacy, what mandate does Keir Starmer actually have to be Prime Minister of this country? He got the job by default, basically. Nobody wants this man in power. He's hated. He is absolutely hated by a vast majority of the population in this country. His opinion poll is through the ground. -58 opinion poll. How can a Prime Minister hold the office of Prime Minister when he's that unpopular? When it's quite obvious that he's working against the people of this country and their interests, as are the majority of people in Parliament. One MP, there's literally one MP in there that has the best interests of the people of this country, and that's the MP of Great Yarmouth. That will be Rupert Lowe. All the rest of them are just in that place for their own political gain or for their own agenda. That's it. And so our country is, I mean, a lot of people have said, I've seen this as well, somebody said this in my comments the other day, we're not circling the toilet. We're clinging on to the U-bend of the toilet. waiting for the next wave of shit to come and wash this country down the U-bend and down into the sewer forever. Let's talk a little bit about the vote, because everybody seems to have this sunshine and rainbows, fuzzy warming feeling about the right to vote. So for everybody that doesn't know, not everybody in this country had the right to vote from the inception, from the creation of Parliament. The fact of the matter is, 60% of men in this country didn't have the right to vote up until 1918, till after the First World War. And that was basically one of the reasons why all men were given the right to vote, was because they'd been off to war. And I'm guessing that Parliament thought, you know, we've basically sent off a generation of young men to be slaughtered in a war. Maybe we should actually give them the right to vote, to decide on the government that actually sends them off to war. Now, the reason 60% of men didn't have the right to vote in the first place prior to 1918 is because the right to vote was tied to property and residency criteria. So basically, to cut a long story short, if you were rich, you could vote. If you were poor, you couldn't vote. That was a part and parcel of it. Yeah, basically, even back then, the Parliament of the time classed the working class as that lot. They didn't trust them enough to have the vote. They didn't think they had the intelligence to vote in general elections. So that's basically why they tied property and residency criteria into the right to vote. It was to exclude certain parts of society from voting. So we need to take off this rose-coloured tinted idea that everybody had the right to vote from the inception of Parliament, and that Parliament was this mighty democratic force that we should all be proud of, because really the working class in this country haven't had the right to vote for a very long time at all. You know, 1918. So we've had it just over, little over 100 years, the right to vote, the majority of working class in this country. So we look at the way that we vote now, because obviously we had a parliament to get rid of tyrant kings, to take the power away from them. They would just be the head of state, and Parliament would be the ones that makes all the decisions about the running of the country and that type of thing. We got rid of the feudal lord system and that sort of thing. But nothing's really changed in respect to the people of this country. We still have kind of a feudal system. We've kind of gone back to it because the people that we send to Parliament to represent us have kind of forgot that they're there to represent the people of this country, not their own interests. So in that respect, the feudal system has returned, because the MPs have become like the feudal lords. They think they're in Parliament to serve their own interests and not that of the people. Truth of the matter is, a lot of the MPs in Parliament don't give a toss about the people of this country. They only care about power and money and how much they can get for themselves. Look at Angela Rayner in Parliament. Do you really think she's in Parliament to look after the best interests of her constituents, or is she in Parliament just to get rich off of lobbyists and people giving her donations? Look at recently what's been revealed about her. She's got 3 homes. She's recently bought a new home, a third home, of £800,000. Now you've got to ask yourself a question. How can somebody on her wages afford 3 homes, the third one being an £800,000 home? You've got to start asking yourself questions. I mean, lots of people know these people are as corrupt as hell. They've got their hands in many pies, and they're probably doing backroom deals, dirty deals, that they're never going to be held accountable to. And that's unfortunate. It really is. That's the state of our country. I want to talk about this as well. I know this is going to be a long video. I apologise for it. I didn't do a video really yesterday. It was only a short one. But Asmongold, he's a streamer. He's an American streamer on YouTube. And in one of his live streams, he was talking about the situation in this country. He was talking about how things are going. And he was talking about all the different parties that we've got in this country. And he said, well, what we need is a new party. And it's like, I don't think he fully realises that we have many parties on the right wing. And the fact of the matter is, it's very, very hard for a new party to break through in this country because of our first past the post system. You need certain information. I mean, a lot of people have been saying, oh, well, you need to surround yourself with good people. And that is a good thing. You do need to surround yourself with a good team of people that can advise you on a way forward and that sort of thing. But the most important thing you need is to beat in general elections, because you need certain information to be able to get a return of MPs in Parliament. Look at the Reform Party. They've been going for 10 plus years, and they've only managed just to return 5 MPs after all that time. It's very, very hard for a new party to break through because you need certain information, mainly voting intentions or actual voting information. You need to be able to look at a map and see where your majorities are, where people actually voted for you, so you can dedicate your resources to those regions. That's exactly what the Liberal Democrats do. That's why they get 70 plus or 60 plus MPs in general elections, and why the Reform Party only gets 5, because they had to use the shotgun method. They basically had to field MPs in every constituency before they could get that information. The next general election, the Reform Party will have that voter information, and they will be able to target areas where they did really well and increase their majorities, which is what you need in a first past the post system. Any up and coming parties are going to have that issue. So when we look at parties like Advanced and other smaller parties, the thing that they've got to face now is that they're going to have to go through the same process as the Reform Party. They need that voting information before they can begin targeting the constituencies where they're going to get big majorities. So when you're looking at the Advanced Party, you're not looking at them having a big win in 2029, but maybe after 2029, then the general election after that, maybe they could win big. But this is the issue in this country with smaller parties. This is why we have very, very few. This is why we've had the 2 main parties for generations, the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. It's because they've had all the information, they've got the backers, and that they have all this voter information. They know how to best target majorities. Now, obviously, in the last general election, the votes for the Conservative Party completely collapsed because of their abysmal track record in government. And the same thing is going to happen to the Labour Party in the next general election. But I will say this: what I feel might happen is there may be a challenge. I don't think Kemi Badenoch is going to be leader of the Conservative Party in the next general election. I think it's going to be Robert Jenrick. Now, I don't trust Robert Jenrick. And if anybody watches my videos, I don't trust any of the political class. I don't. I'm not into party politics or anything like that. I think it's a complete waste of time. I think it's a distraction. I'm only talking about this because I'm trying to, tell Asmongold why this country is in the situation it's in. It's because it's notoriously hard for any new parties to break through into politics. It really is. It takes decades to build up the support, the infrastructure, and it's costly. It's very, very costly running a political party. It really is. And unless you've got some really good financial backers, then you haven't got much chance of breaking into the mainstream. And at the current state of this country, the right wing politically is very, very divided. There's just too many camps, too many tribalistic camps of different parties in this country to actually make a difference at the minute. I'm probably predicting at the next general election it's going to be a hung parliament. It's going to have to be some kind of coalition, because we simply don't have a cohesive right wing politically. We don't. They argue over petty things about who's the best leader. The policies are basically all the same. All their policies are the same. They're just arguing over who's the best person to implement those same policies. And that's why I've lost faith in the political system completely. It's because these people just won't put country before ego. That's the part and parcel of it. Anyway, I've ranted enough. This is Vindicator, signing off.